This summer solstice brings the launch of Synchronicity University. So excited about finally presenting you guys with a free, online, fully accessible data bank of astrology classes. You can watch lessons right now at synchronicityuniversity.com and of course my YouTube channel, nadiyashah.com. Hello, fabulous Libra. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of August 2015, General Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. Most of this month, very social, very fun as well. And it is going to be people who want your attention. And there's going to be a real desire on your part as well to enjoy life and to share that with others. So there's a very strong social vibe that's taking place throughout much of this month. In fact, it starts just before this month begins. There's a sense of flirtiness, a sense of awareness of the people around you, and a real sense of wanting connections with other people as well. Regardless, if you're one of those Libras, now Libras like to be social, right? Like to connect with other people, like to talk to other people as well. So this month should feel just right. However, as we move to the later part of the month, and it is going to be towards the end of the month, that the day calls you. So it's almost as if overnight, one moment you're social, you're fun, everything's light, everything's easy breezy, and then you've got to come to earth, really. You've got to come to the day. You've got to pay attention to your body, to your life, and to your work. So those can be contrasting things, but you can find a way to make them work very much to your liking. As I said, early this month, we're beginning this month on a full moon, which actually takes place just before the month begins on the last day of July. So on the last day of July, we have a full moon happening in a very flirty part of your sky. At the end of the day, this is a part of the sky that is creative and that has a real desire to connect with creation energy, however it is you understand that. So that is what you're carrying into this month, a real desire to feel alive. So whether it's a creative project that's got you feeling alive, whether your creations are your children or desire to have children, or whether it's love, which I'll talk more about in the love-focused horoscope, regardless, you are in some way awakening, especially as the month begins, with a very strong desire to be more engaged with life. And the universe responds, especially once we get to the middle of the month. The middle of the month is very social for you. In the middle of the month, we have friends coming out of the woodwork, lots of people wanting to spend time with you. Your memberships or groups that you belong to need your time as well. And it may be that you're asked to step up and take on greater responsibility in terms of any associations or groups or committees that you might belong to. Now, you do have that ability to meet the challenges. I see some resistance on your part, and that's largely going to be because a part of you is going to be wanting to enjoy life. So the responsibility part, while you usually are able to, engage it quite well and quite easily, and I actually think that especially once we get into next month, and Saturn comfortably moves into the sign of Sagittarius, this is a placement where you're able to that much more easier tap into the power of Saturn, which ultimately works really well with your energy, with your sign's energy. I actually think that you are, at the beginning of the month, feeling a real sense like you want to take on greater responsibility, but you're not really sure what that's going to look like. You're not really sure how you feel about that. And there might be some financial pressures or requests that go along with this as well. So you're going to have to find a way to find that sense of peace and openness with yourself and within yourself to meet the challenge fully and with an open heart as well. But it looks like you rise to the occasion. You're asking yourself what's worth committing to, and also asking yourself the final questions, really this final stint for many, many years to come of Saturn moving through a financial part of your sky. And you're asking yourself, is it worth the money? Well, that's a big question as we start the month for you. So be mindful of this, because we do have Venus retrograde, and Venus retrograde is really famous for making purchases, the types of purchases that are ultimately the superficial type, right? That have to do with clothes and makeup and beauty things, right? And then afterwards saying, what was I thinking? What was going on with me that I decided to go in that direction? So just be a little bit mindful of that. But, you know, as I like to say, it's just hair, it's just clothes. You can always change. And so be open to that, while at the same time being mindful that you don't want to do anything too permanent. But having said that, it seems to be a real, there's a sense there happening as we start the month that you're thinking about money, and you're thinking about ultimately a real desire to engage life. And yet there's this knowledge, there's this knowing happening within you that, okay, things can change. And sometimes things can change really drastically. In the early part of the month, there might also be some questions around friendship and money, or groups you belong to and money as well. So if you belong to a group and all of a sudden membership fees go, you know, straight through the roof, that's going to be part of your exploration to ask yourself if this is something that you want to continue being a part of. But having said that, in the middle of the month, things are just so good. Things are so positive, especially on the friendship front, that it very likely is going to be friends and those that you're connected to through these different groups that end up creating greater opportunity for you, and also possibly creating more love for you as well. All of the stuff I've been talking about has been going week to week in the weekly horoscopes and the Venus special horoscopes that I talked about. I spoke about how for you, this is, you know, friend could become a lover type of energy. Friend could become more type of energy that's taking place for you with this Venus retrograde. Well, with this new moon in the middle of the month, that energy is hyped up. It is that much stronger. It is that much more secure and that much more focused as well. So there's a really strong socialness happening, and the likelihood of you being very surprised, stumbling onto a friendship that becomes more very quickly, also very possible for you as well. But of course, I'll talk a lot more about that in the love-focused horoscope. By the time we get to the end of the month, as I said, the energy brings you to earth. It's like almost overnight, like, okay, you've got to be present, you've got to be here. For some of you, this is going to manifest in terms of work and more clients and more jobs, more stuff to do. There's just more on your plate. Now, how much of a financial connection that's making, it doesn't look like there's necessarily that strong of a, you know, more work equals more money, which sometimes, of course, we like to see. But it does look like your day is asking for more of your attention. This can be a time when you attract more clients into your life, or this can be a time when, particularly because this is a full moon, a contract, a particular contract, a work contract, or your work with a particular client starts coming to an end as well. Now, what's interesting to me about this full moon is that it is happening very close to Neptune in the sky and speaking with Pluto in a type of conversation that is harmonious. But it's one of those conversations that you've really got to be focused and really got to decide you're going to tap into if you're going to make it count for anything good. So with this particular energy, it does suggest to me that you're working hard. There may be a desire to change jobs or something almost perfect or ideal that comes about. Almost like dream come true kind of energy that very quickly gives way to you thinking, okay, what is really required here? What is really going on here? Now, this could bring with it a change in your work environment, particularly a female leaving. So when I see a sky like this, it could be that a female coworker or supervisor is leaving on not very good terms. And you might be asked to fill in some of the gap, fill in some of those shoes. And you may actually be thinking, okay, I know what circumstances under which this other person left. Am I able to step into this place? Am I able to deal with what it is that this other person dealt with? So these are going to be some of the internal questions that are possible for you. If you are somebody who is self-employed, this can be a time, as I said, when a client or a contract ends, and there's going to be a part of you that has a lot of wish and a lot of hope for this to lead to something bigger and better. And it can, but you're going to have to be a little strategic about it, and you're going to have to be a little smart about it. You certainly can do that. You certainly can make waves and good things happen all around, but you are going to have to be a little bit mindful of how to move forward and to see what dynamics are actually playing out. but also ethical. Real need to be absolutely ethical. Don't try and do anything that might be a little bit, going around, a little bit sneaky. The temptation might be there, but it's best to leave that to the side. Finally, some of you out there are going to be experiencing this on the level of health, and it does look like where it comes to your health, some changes are going to have to be made. In fact, this can be a time when you are either retaining more water or just feeling an overall sense of heaviness, or just feeling a little bit more weighted down. And so you're going to have to find a way to manage that, to make some changes that ultimately can be really small but make a big difference, that move you towards greater strength, incorporating little things that make you stronger. So keep that focus on what's really essential and what is going to make you stronger, really from the inside out. And that should help you tremendously at this time. A lot of your answers, if you get a diagnosis, just be mindful, because Neptune is so active, the chance of getting a diagnosis that isn't very accurate is possible. And ultimately, your answers are going to be found by probing a little bit more deeply and thinking about what is it that's going to change things from the inside out, and going to that place will end up creating and end up changing the tide very much in your favor towards greater health as well. What I love about this month for you is that focus on friends and other people. People love you, and people are going to be coming out of the woodwork to let you know that you are loved, you are valued, your company is valued as well. So let them be there for you. Enjoy your time. And when your energy, when your day calls you, and you've got to pay attention to what's in front of you, you will carry that love with you, allowing it to make you that much more effective at whatever you do.